Hello everyone, thank you so much once again for joining us. So in today's session, we'll be learning about how to work in the real time. Say for example, you want to work in the real time, how to create a task and also assign and work on particular tasks and close like from basic to the till closing, right? That means from the once you create the user story, I mean not just like a task till the closing, what are the process required as part of the project like like process. So we'll also see like how to basically work with the pipelines in the real time. So like we have created last time pipelines structure, how to define it. So that also we'll try to cover everything. But as I told you, first we'll start with the very basic. So that is user story. So sorry, task. So we all know, right? So if I refer you last time, we have it one sheet here. We were discussing about this one, like what is epic, then what is features. We have so many other, right? So having said that, similar way, what we'll do today, we will assign a task, create a task basically. This is a task. So I have created that right now. If you see here, this task, this is the basically dashboard as you can see here. This dashboard right now I can see one task. This is a user story. You can ignore for now. Let's focus on the task level. So task is something that one particular person will be working on this particular task. Now there is an option to assign it. Now you should know who to assign this as a project manager or maybe this thing. They'll be assigning to the respective person or team. So in my case, let me assign to my name. So as I assign, close it. So right now it is showing as active, right? So now what we do, there is option call. You can, because this is agile methodology we are using, right? There are three options. One is a new by default that will come, then active, close, and remove. Active means basically as you start working, once you start working on the task. So as I told you, this was our creator. So we are already started working on this. That means in progress, right? That time it will be active. Close means once you're done with your task, you can close it. Say for example, once you're done with your based on the requirement, once you fulfill that, you can close it. And then we have a remove. Remove something if you don't want to keep within in your board, then you can remove it. So what we'll do first, I will keep it as active. And as I told you, it is assigned to my name. Now there is an option priority. If you want to change, depends on the projects, this thing that may also change sometimes. Priority, like high one mean it is a high priority. Second mean it is a medium level, like this. Okay, so in my case, I'll go with the one maybe. Then you can see the option also for F for hours. How many hours is going to take for you to complete this task, right? And this and all options are there, but it's again your choice. Some project they may estimate your time also, how long you're going to take to complete particular task. So as I told you, it is just for this thing. We will not estimate any task. Let's maybe keep for now this much. Okay, now it is assigned. Now as you can see here, if you just click one second here, if you notice, work started. As by default, if you click here active, work started. As I told you, it is in progress, right? So that's the thing. Okay, and as soon as you assign new task, it will be a by default new. Once you start working on that, you have to active that. So I have done that one, change the status basically. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Next, what we are going to do, we are going to work this particular task. So this is about what, creating the storage account. Now what is the next process then in order to make this basically fulfill this requirement? Next, you should know where this particular repository basically to work or to create the resources for storage account. Where is your repository, right? You should have it in place. So of course you have a project already, you have a CI/CD also in place, but let's not talk about the CI/CD for now. Let's talk about the task. So as I told you, we have a repo for this one. So in my case, repo, we have it. Let me open one more tab maybe here. Let's say this is the repo we are having now. We are working for the same requirement, right? So let's say we have a repository already in your Azure repo. So let's come to there is something called as what we call under repo. There is you'll have a lot many repository as long as you have access. So in my case, as I told, we are going to work with this particular real-time infrastructure as code with Terraform. So I will select this repository because we have already cloned it already. Usually you will not store your repository code into Azure, sorry, GitHub. It will be stored in your Azure repo mostly. But in some situation, some project may use GitHub as well. So I cannot say 100% like they don't use it. There is a situation where it use GitHub as well when it comes to this thing. Okay, let's say in our case scenario, we are using the Azure repo. This is the repo we are having. What is our task now? We need to work with new requirement. What is the requirement now? As I told you, new requirement is to create storage account. So what I'll do first thing, I will clone this one. There are cloning. Before cloning, I will also show you something. Maybe I can show you both now. Go to branch because as I told you, depends on this requirement. You need to create new branch, right? You need to create new branch based on the tasks or the features because we are working with the feature branching strategy concept. Now, if we all know what is feature branching strategy, for every single task or maybe features, whenever you want to work with, that time you will create new feature branch from your respective branch. Okay. So what I'll do now, as I told you, this is the task, right? I will go to the here. I will create the repository like branch. So if you go here, branch within the same repo, right? I can create it here. Now I can create here. I can give a feature class. What is the name of this? What is the related things task? It is about a storage account, right? I can mention like storage so that some naming standard we need to follow, right? Like naming in the sense depends on the related task. You can give any name. Sorry, where is that? Oh, this is I moved to sound anyway. So depends on this thing. You would have these things now. It's a now I create as a task storage. Okay, that means storage or storage account, something like that. Now, when comes to the what you call branch, normally you will not take the code from the main branch, but in our simplicity purpose, we are using the main branch. But usually in your project, you will be taking from the dev branch. Okay, like base branch would be dev branch. But in my case, as I told you, we don't have right now anything in place. We can have it. Otherwise, what we can do is I can change it. But let's instead of the dev branch, let's say we are taking from main branch. As I told you, we don't have a dev branch right now. Directly, we'll take from the main branch. But in real time, you will be taking from the dev branch only. Concept remains same. Okay. Now I have taken. If you see, there is an option to work item. So as you click here, there is an option. You can see a like create. This is this thing. Now I can select this one. That means I'm saying now I want to work with this particular task that is the storage account related, and I will take the base branch source branch as main, and I will link my work item also. Work item is nothing but your the story user story. I mean task. This is the task you are going to work, right? Create user story, create storage account in it is to yes. This is the task that you are going to work. So I will link this also. But again, this particular task is optional. You can link or you can ignore also. That depends on your choice. But preferably you can link it that so that they can track easily. Okay, in my case, I will link it. Okay, I will link it. I will create it. Okay, I have linked it. This is one way of doing it from the GUI. Another way of linking the basically creating the branch, as we all know, we can directly tag from the create in the locally also branch and then push the changes also. So this one you know right already. So normally sometimes we may use this way or we may use different way. Okay, now we know this one process. Second, what I'll do, I will go to the what is a repo, right? Now I need to clone it, right? Go to this thing option. There is an option to clone it. I will take this URL so that I can clone because I have already I'm going to work in my local system, so I have a separate folder or you can call as a directory where I want to store all my repository locally so that I can work on. So I'll go here. Then I will select for no nothing required under this project. I can simply type git clone, right? First, what we did, we create a branch. Now, as soon as I create a branch, now what happened? Now I have to go inside. I have to first remember, once you work, you have to go to inside this directory. Sorry, repo. It is a real, right? So you can type. So once you switch here, let me expand a little bit. Now, if I type ls also, you can see the project that we have with everything. The same project what we see here, right? That means we have modules, everything, right? Same thing, it is cloned locally also. So as soon as I clone, same copy of the repository is stored in your local system as well, so that I can do modify it now according to my requirement. So done. Now, what is our requirements? Our requirement is to basically work with the storage account. Now, in order to work storage account, this is why I have created, if you go git runs, I can see that if I type it I can see this one I created, right? By default, right now, this is the dev branch. You can see here also highlighted with a green asterisk mark. So this is the one. But as I told you, I'm going to work with the what they call, not dev branch. I'm going to work with the feature branch. So the way I can do is I can simply go git checkout. If you know the branch name, you can type or I can search. Okay, git checkout. Then branch name, whatever branch name is, something like feature slash storage, right? Sorry, some spelling mistake maybe. Git checkout, is it git
Storage, bro. STA.
storage? What is it? What is the mistake?
STA, storage account name is a mistake. You need to mention
Sto
STA.
Okay, maybe on it. Okay, correct. Yeah.
STA.
Oh, spelling mistake. I have done spelling. Okay. Okay. Sorry for that. That's what I was wondering. Why is mistake? Okay. Thanks for that. Okay. Storage secreted. This way now I can switch. Now if whatever copy I have in my main branch also, it is also updated here. This way, then now I can start working from this branch. This is one of the way, like this is one of the way where we can do. So another way is, if you don't want to create this branch, right? Let's say this branch we created here. Let's say I don't want to create here. I want to create locally also. Then that also possible you can do. So what I'll do now, as I told you, I don't want to create remote this branch. I want to create locally also, so that I can show another process. This one way of doing it. What I'm showing here. Till once you're done till here, now you can start working with your respective tasks. Whatever you modify, or maybe you want to write the code accordingly. But let me show you. For now, I'll delete this branch because I don't want to work with this concept. I mean this way, because this is using the GUI I created the branch, right? Now I can delete the option under storage. I can delete it. Right? Delete I can do. Now what I want basically. So I want this time, instead of creating the branch using the GUI or from the portal, what I want is I want to create everything from the local. So let me show you this also. So in order to create from the local, first I need to know from which branch are you going to take the code. That means just like when we create here, we took the code from the main branch side. Same way here also, whenever you create a new branch, you should know from what is the origin source code. That means from which branch you want to take the latest code. In my case, as I told you, we don't have the dev branch, or if we have a dev branch, but it is not updated. So I'll be taking from the main branch, right, as a source, right, source branch. So what we can do, I will first have to check out first that git checkout. You can do from here, or I can switch here. There is an option main, right? Just type main. You can see the main. Okay. Now I can see the main. Now if I type the git this thing, sorry, status, sorry, not status, branch. Okay, right now you can see that means now, as I told you, we are going to take the latest code or the source code from the source branch as main, right? So I'm going to basically take the latest code from the main. So what I'll do, I have to whenever I want to create the as a source branch, you have to always switch to the particular branch. In my case, as I told you, I'm taking the code from the main. So this is the reason why right now I'm sitting in the main branch now. Now only I have to create new branch. So how can I create? There are two ways of creating the branch also, right? git checkout or just git branch, then branch name. I can do like this git branch, then whatever branch name I can give. Second way, if you don't want to do that in one way, what we can do is I can directly do git checkout dash b, right? It will directly create the branch and switch to the branch, right? So I can mention as a now feature slash storage, right? Now we understood, right? Same way, now what will do, I will take the latest code, whatever I have in the main branch, same code will be replicated into my this branch, feature branch, and it will be basically switched directly. Now you can see it is switched now. This is one of the way of also working. So instead of creating from the GUI, I would prefer using this one. This looks much simpler for me. Okay. Now, what is the next now? Next work is to basically work on my particular requirement. Now, what is the requirement now? Requirement is to basically work on the storage account. This is the reason why I given a similar naming, right, for the branch. So now let me work with this one. Here, let's say we have a module already. We have a modules. Now under storage account, we have it. So if you don't have a storage account, let's say, or maybe in my case, it is there. I will not modify anything, of course, much because it is already created. But in your case, you have to create from basic. Uh, depends again, you want to use as a module or you want to create a storage account within certain resource or how, that depends on your choice. But in my case, this is used as a module. So what I do, I simply within the maybe main.tf, I will modify something, just check up our understanding. So what I want is here, maybe I will add one more tag maybe. Sorry, no, I cannot add tag, mean this is a global, right? So tag, I don't want to do. Okay, what can I change it? Okay, let's say I want to add some commands here, right? This is from storage. Just for normally, as I told you, you can change the code according to the your expectation, like what exactly you want to create. But as I told you have already, so I don't want to do it here. Then second thing, what I do, I want to modify something in the tier words also, because tier words, why I want to modify is because I have certain resource where I need to modify. So if you remember, yesterday we were talking about a module, right? So these are the module. Now the like tier verse is not taken from here. The tier verse will not be taken from here. Tier verse will be taken or maybe changes from your where is that pipeline? Let me check here. Pipelines. Under pipeline we have environment. Under environment we are working with a dev, right? Dev changes. So here I will modify something. Let me just scroll this little down. Let's say I want to make some changes for my this thing, because this is about the respect to dev branch. So what I'll do, I will try to modify instead of, this is dev, right? Dev I given. Now what else? Okay, we are working storage account. Storage account I have one, only I enable only one. This time what I'll do, I will give the name as the some other name. Let's say, what can I give the name? I can give STG DevOps Pulse, right? Maybe I can give 1000. This is the name I given. This is the latest code, basically to modify the latest one, right? Now let me show it now. That means I'm only changing this particular storage account name. Now let me save it. You can do using the file and then save here. Otherwise, the Control S is okay. That will save. Now, if I try to do, because now we know, right, the whatever value we are passing here, we have passed it already. So this is the reason why we don't want to do any modification much. So next I will do a git status so that I can see the changes. Now, as I told you, there are two changes I have made. One is now you can see in the main like storage account main.tf, I did some changes like I commented, and in your tf verse also I have modified. You can see the file part also where it is, right? So we are good here. Now let me git. What is the next now? Next I can run git add. dot this also. But as I told you, this is not required for us because we are not writing separate new file, right? We are simply modifying the existing code. That's it. So we don't want to do this one. So what we can do instead, we can directly git user git commit dash am. That means it will directly add and basically commit it in one commands itself. But if you're using creating new files or folders, that situation you have to run the git add separately. Okay, now let's type, let's say updated. You can give them some like suitable name when you commit message. Okay, so that they know what changes you are making. It will be easy to identify. So in my case, as I told you, updated storage account related, or maybe working whatever you can mention storage account. I can mention it. I can commit. So as soon as I commit, you can see the changes. It is in not in the main branch, right? Into this thing now. If I tag the git status, I cannot see because locally from repository it is moved to the local repository. It is not there in your local system now or in your distinct directory. Now, now what I have to do, I have to push the changes to the where remote. But now if I try to push like this, I will get in some error. I cannot push this one. Let me show you. I cannot push this one. See here. Now, the reason why I'm not able to post, if you take a look, the kind of the message, it says that the current branch feature this particular branch has no upstream branch. To push the current branch and set the remote as upstream, use these commands. So what it means basically, it says that. So remember always, whenever you're working in the real time or maybe any kind of branching, like working with particular branch, anytime whenever you are creating, I'll give you two scenario. Whenever you're creating the branch from the remote, remote means using the portal, right? Whenever you are creating the branch from the remote, that means from the portal using GUI, right? That time, let's say this whatever name I given, that time if I want to work with the same branch, i don't have to I don't have to basically use the, I can simply use only this one. This will work because I don't have to give any other like here. The reason why it is not required is because this is actually remote store in your cloud, basically remote, right? That means they have already all your informations about this particular branch. This is the reason. But right now we have created a new branch called as this feature slash storage. This branch is created locally. That means whenever you create new branch from local system, the Git would not be able to track anything unless you specify them to basically what do you call that, you specify to make them basically or maybe set as a upstream. What is upstream now? Basically upstream is nothing but, say for example, it's just like a metadata. Having your metadata into remote, that means you can easily identify, okay, this resource is already there in my remote also, so it is easy for them to track also. This is the reason why it is asking you to do command this one. So okay, in my case, as I told you, if I use the remote branch using the, if I create already same branch from the remote, I can directly use using these commands. But as we have already done using locally, so I have to use this command. So what I can do, I don't have to type this fully or copy paste if you want. Else what you can do, you can type dash u, or this is short form, right? Set upstream you can type, otherwise dash you can use a dash u is nothing but this is upstream. Okay, concept remains same. Now I have to give origin. Why origin? Because we are sending the changes to the remote, right? Origin spelling is wrong. Now origin I have given. Then what is the next? After origin, we need to mention as the branch name. So branch name, or you can copy paste it if you want. I think I can copy better. Copy paste right here. That means I'm saying now I will push. I will upstream this thing where in the remote. What is the name of the branch? This is a branch. Don't confuse. Do not the main branch. You are working in the feature branch. I want to be available this particular branch only. Okay, let me send it. Now you see here. Now the error is gone. Now we can see the new branch. This particular branch. Okay. Now if you see here, this branch is wait now. This branch is available now local as well as remote. That is your Azure Repo. Let us see. Right now you cannot see anywhere. If I refresh it, now you can see the another feature there is a storage. This is the reason why I'm telling you to create this block. The reason why you want to use a features, because as I told you, we are working with the feature branching strategy concept. So it is always good to understand, okay, you can identify this belongs to the features branch, like that you can understand it. Now this way we have understood. What is the next now? Next work is to, as I told you, you have done with your code level everything. You have pushed the code also locally. I mean from local to the remote. What is the next? Next is I need to if you I have to basically test this code right locally. So how can I test the code locally? If you want to test code locally, what we can do, there are two ways. Let's say this is just a simple example I have given. You should have done using, let's say, locally also, like this is the local system, right? Locally I can test it. Let's say example, I'm just giving example, git terraform. I can mention backend false is equal to false, so it not initialize backend anything plugin. Okay, now before pushing also, normally if you're writing the code, let's say if you're writing the big code, or maybe if you're not sure with the changes, you want to see the, like you want to see whether the syntax are correct or not, you always try to use the way how I use now. Before pushing the code, you can use a terraform commit, sorry, not commit, terraform validate. After initialization, you have to do, you cannot directly run the validate, you have to initialize the backends, because backends once you initialize, what, let me show you. Whenever you initialize the backend, where is that? You can see here it is your modules, right? All the modules, whatever you have the module, it is going to be initialized locally also, plugins, everything, so that they can now only you can run the terraform basically validate. Terraform init is done, terraform validate, right? Before running terraform plan, sorry, you can now you can see it is successful. So once you feel this code is as a validation as a success, then only you should be able to push the code. You should be doing the changes in the remote as well. Now, as I have already pushed the changes, and even I can see here also success, that means I'm good here. So we should not be thinking much. Now, what is the next now? Next, you will do the changes locally. And now if you go to the here, branch, uh, right here, repo, pipelines. Now, this is the repo we have done the CI/CD pipeline already, right? So if you click here, in my case, I don't know if it will work in this particular branch, because we may not have configured. Okay, but we can check it. So in normally real time, once you're done the changes, in your same branch itself, you have to check the plan also, validate plan, not the apply. Apply should be done only through the main branch. But in your case, as I told you, we don't because we have taken the code from the main branch. If you're working from the dev branch, you have to select the dev branch in your case. Because as I told you, we have taken from the main branch, so we have to select. But for testing case, I will be checking from the in the dev, like because we have this thing, I can select the features environment. I will select this one, validate and plan. Okay, like this. Maybe this time this may not work also, because we may not configure the branch as a feature branch, but we'll see if it is still working fine. Otherwise, we can this thing. Let's see if it is already taken by default, then good, because in the main branch I have configured main, but only for the apply. Let's see. So now it is taking the validation also passed. It is taking this thing. Okay, so dynamically we are how we are testing. Okay, good. Now we can see now how many numbers are searching. Total 14 numbers. Now plan also success, right? That means good. Now we are testing it this one where we have tested this one in your feature branch. Remember, not in the main branch or dev branch. We are doing the main branch, sorry, feature branch. Now what we can do, let us see what changes we are making it. Now if I go to the storage account, this is the name I have given, right? Yeah, let me copy this name. Let me search here if I can find this name in your just put your cursor in your black this thing screen, find it, just search with this thing. What happened? What is your storage account? Storage account container. Can you see here storage account name? There are so many, but you can see the plan, right? Plans, everything we can see. Network policy is getting created. Then we have energy created. Then sharpener also created. I mean, going to create basically showing the plan. And then we have security associations. Then network, bnet. Then we have a resource group. Then what else? Storage account. Yeah, here you can see, right? Storage account we given this name. This is the name we given, right? If you see here, SD DevOps Pulse 100. So you can see, oh, sorry, not this one. Take in the existing value DevOps, not this one. This is the old one. Storage account 2. Okay, it is taking the value, the averse from the another this thing. We need to configure. Anyway, the concept remains same as I told you. So this how we have to change, do our changes, because right now we need to modify something in the Terraform code, not Terraform code on the pipeline level. So I have not done this. This is the reason why it's showing. Anyway, so this is how we have to test it. So one should do testing here in your particular branch. So what you do next? That means you go to changes. Once you're happy with the changes, then only you will do a pull request now. Let's say this is good for me now. I'm good everything, because as I told you, the changes we are going to the main branch, but we are doing in the feature branch. This is the reason why the changes not taking properly, but this is how it should be. You can understand, right? Now if you go to the pipeline, now what is the next? Now you go to the repository. I have to pull request now. So there is an option like this, or you can select create new one. Otherwise you can go to the repo. There is an option pull request, select either one. Once you click here, there is an option pull request, or from here also you can do it. Now main branch to which branch? I have this branch, right? Now can see. By showing nothing. Source branch main. Yeah. So from main to I want to compare it. So this is basically the branch that I created into this particular, but this one I want to change it. So now whatever we are doing, we can, let me see. Now this is the name. This was the name we given, right? Latest name. This was the before. Before this was the name. Then we move to here this name. Okay, that means now whatever changes we are doing, this is the changes we made, right? Yeah, DevOps Pulse. Yeah, this one DevOps Pulse. What was the before name? Okay, before it the correct only. Before it was a DevOps Pulse 01. Now it is 100. Okay, correct only. That's the correct one. So maybe we can check the plan also whether that's the correct one. Because as I told you, plan is something that you can check it if it is correct one. Okay, and you can go to basically click here, plan. Let me see if I can copy this properly. You should be able to search it, but sometimes I don't know why it's not coming. Not coming. Okay, anyway, let's not spend much time. Anyway, the changes happen, right? You can see the changes in your pull request. So that means it is good. Now what we can do, we can actually see the changes. Now you can see this file number. If you go to the under here, normally this is where you can give the pull request name, whatever name I want to give, and also can give who it has to open. Now you can see the option like who you want to assign to. But one thing before that, if you remember, in particular brands, we have not done the what I call one thing we did not do right. If you remember, while creating the brands from the remote, I given associated with the task. But in my case, it is not done now. If you go here, history. Now, if you go here, this is the thing. Now you can assign basically this thing. Now you can see the changes that we make. So this is the changes that we are making it. But when it comes to the now our pull request, sorry, where is that? Pull request. What I'll do, I'll go back. I'll create new. So I can mention the name that I want. It's not a dev, it will be a main. Okay, now I can see now I can select the reviewer. Like there are two options. One is a optional review. That means this is optional. If you want to put somebody as a record, that means the particular person need to approve. Okay, in my case, I'll give as optional. But in your case, if you at all require, depends on the challenge, you can see, and you can see your option. You can associate your this particular task now, right? Now you can associate so that they will know, right? So whenever you're modifying or raising an PR, the person who review the code, right, they will know which task you're working on. So if you associate, that is good actually. If you don't associate, that is also okay. But then it's best practice to associate your task also. Now, then what is the next? Now, as a, let's say I'm actually raising a PR. Me as a PR, if I raise also, I can review my own code basically. Like I can check the code, what changes happen. I can before creating the PR, I can check the changes that I make. Whatever I make changes, no, I can check it. Let's say in main.tf, there is something called as a module. Under module, we have a storage account. Under here, we have a main.tf. This is what changes. I can see the line number highlighted with a line number here. This was the old, the new changes we made. Plus symbol mean latest, or whatever you see on your right side. This is the right side, right? This is your left side. So right side mean the latest changes basically. So in the latest changes, you made these changes, right? This is from the storage account. So next, if you come here, same thing I have made this changes, and this is the new one. So that means we are good with this thing. Now that once you're comfortable with these changes, you can come here. That means this one you can say by yourself before creating the PR and asking people to review. Okay, so I will go back. I will raise it. So if you notice here, what happened now? As soon as I click, it depends on there is any branching policy and all. If there is something, they will get some error, or maybe you have to fix that. In my case, I don't have any policy defined for now, at least. So that's okay. No conflict also. If there is any conflict, then you have to fix the issue also. No conflict now. So you can see this also Hriyen created the pull request, and you can see the work item also. So it will be easy. Now, let's say somebody as a like approver. Let's say I am as a approver. Let's say now I can see this also. What task you're working on? You can go to the file. Same just like the person, like how I was showing that time, right? Same thing I can also see here. As a reviewer, I can also see the changes that you make. Okay, so let's say once I'm happy with this one, then what I can do, I can commit it. Or maybe there's an option, right? Once you're done, you can see here, Hriyen propose to merge into main from this particular. That means whatever changes I have from this particular feature branch, I want to merge with my main branch. So like if I'm okay with the changes according to this thing, there's an option approve. You can see, you can approve with the suggestions. If you want to give some suggestions, you want to wait for the authors, or you want to reject, or you want to give some feedback, depends on you. Or there is an option also directly complete mark as draft abandon. Abandon means if you want to cancel it basically. Okay, and if you want to send a PR, there is an option. You can share PR request, that means pull request. This URL you can send, let's say if I click here, you can send to email also. Let's say to who you want to send to. Like you can give a your email, like you can give a message, what a message I want to give it. Okay, so that's why you can define it. You can, the mail will be gone to this particular person now. Then apart from this one, there is an option to save or commit if you want. Disable also we can do it. There is an option restore marks everything. Cherry pick is something that we don't want to do. So in my case, what we want is we will simply approve it because I'm okay with these changes. I will go here, approve it. Once I approve it, there is an option called merge type. So if you notice here, as soon as I type a Mars type as squash, there is a other option also we have. Let's say Mars move like a Mars, we have a move fast forward, then we have a squash commit, reverse and a fast forward, then simuliner Mars. So these all we have different like Mars type. But when it comes to real time, you see like mostly they'll be using this squash commit. The squash commit, why it is used, because liner history with only one single commit only target this thing. That means, let's say I will select this thing. Let's say when you write a code here in your branch, let's say you have a 10 commits, right? So on all 10 commits will not be replicated or shown here. So what it'll do is that it will take the new commit, in the sense it will create another new commit and on top of your existing 10 commit, and this particular all 10 commit whatever you have done in your feature branch will not be shown anymore. That is the beauty of using the squash. And as I told you, there is an option complete work as you can man, there is an option called complete associated work after merging this thing. That means, and also you can delete the branch. That means I'm working with this branch, right? As soon as the pull request is completed, I can, there is an option to delete the branch also dynamically, meaning automatically, right? This also option is there. If you want to customize the some commit, like this is the by default march, like this is a march number. Let's say every single pull request or there is a number is created. Same way for every single basically task. If you see the work item also, there is always number. This number is coming from where? Let me show you. If you go back, maybe I will go back to my report, backlog, here, right? If you see here, what is the task number? 13, right? This is the user story 12 number. So this is the task number is 13. So this is the reason why it is showing this thing. Now, as I told you, now this particular task, if you see the status, it is showing as active. Now, if you see option active, there is something called as a close, right? There is something called as a close. So if you want that to be closed automatically, as soon as you're done, that also options are there. You can do this one using these commands. Okay, let me show you. If I do this thing, normally you can do or you can ignore this one, depends on the task you're working on, because sometimes you may need to check for some times and before closing it. But let's say for our simplicity purpose, I will select this one as this also, and I'll just merge complete. So as soon as I done, you can see the pull request basically that is for the storage account later, it is completed. Now you can also see option like there is an option. Let me show you here, overview. You can see, right, under overview, same in your pull request, you can see merge number is this thing. Whatever the we have given the name, right? What I have not changed the name, right? So it is given updated history. This is the pull request name I given, right? When I raise the PR, this is the name I given. So this name is showing here, and no issue here. Now you can see also Hriyen completed the pull request I have created, but normally in this case somebody name will be coming because I'll not be the person who will be approving the PR pull request. This should be done. This particular pull request should be done. It will be completed or maybe approved by some other person in your team. But for our simplicity purpose, I have done by myself. Okay, good now. Now, same thing. If you want to change the changes, you can check it after completion also. Now let's go to the next one. Next, what is thing? As I told you, I have not done anything here. I'll close this thing. Okay, this is now you can see automatically is closed, right? I did not do anything, automatically it's closed. How it is possible? It is because you have associated the user story, right? Sorry, task. The task when you run here, you have associated, right? This is the reason why this was associated, right? This is the reason why automatically there is an option when you approve the PR, it has to close the task. Now you can see the task is closed automatically. I have not done anything. It is closed. This one way of doing that also we can do. So as soon as I approve the PR, then what is the next now? Now, next is if you go to the pipelines, here we have a pipeline. Let me take you back. Pipeline here. Okay, now you can see pipeline is then. Can you see here? This was run by me, right? I have not run here by myself. How was it possible this one? If Mars PR number, this was just now I have done the PR, right? Sorry, a pull request I did, it is Mars. So the Mars number, whatever I was discussing just sometime before this one, there is a Mars number, right? This thing. As soon as I basically approve the PR, once I approve the PR, automatically the pipeline got triggered. Here, this was run by me manually, but this was automatically using the Mars. This thing, this was run manually. Sorry, automatically. How was it possible? Because if you see our pipelines, in your pipelines, if you come to your pipelines, there is a include as a main. That means I'm trying to say if there is any changes in your main branch, then pipeline should trigger automatically, right? If branch they are messing the branch name, if it is branch match whatever the branch name, then it will get triggered based on this thing. This is the reason why it is coming, right? Means, but question is you might be thinking what this is running, but what kind of action it is going to do, whether it is going to deploy the resource or it is going to just show me the plan. How do you know? Let's say here we have done the, because if you see here while doing here there is an option. Let's say I have it main branch, right? I have a main branch. Let's say there is an option called validate and plan, apply, everything is there. But how the pipeline will ensure what kind of while doing the automatic pull request, once they run the pipeline, what exactly what they have to do with Terraform action. So how they can identify. So in my case, if you go to the latest the PR, I mean this one, right? You can check it. Now if I click here, this is the latest one, right? This is the by default the pipeline got triggered. Now what is, if you see here, validate and plan, it only validates and plan. So you can see now if you see the plan, whatever changes that we have done it, like here, we can see the changes here. About the, let me check. Dev Boards. It's not saying, maybe anyway, there is some, I cannot search it. Anyway, so we understood, right? So automatically it's got trigger. Yeah, so automatically got trigger. So, but at this time, if you see here, the main branch also got trigger, but it is only done what? It is only plan and validate. Now, your requirement is now good, because now you have merged the code. Now the branch also what we have it. If you go back to the repo, now you cannot see the future branch that you created because this got deleted. How was it deleted? Because when we raise the PR, automatically the branch also, I told clearly that branch will be deleted at the time of PR successfully completions, as well as the this thing, what you call, what is that? Boards, the task, right? The task also should be completed. I have given like not here. I have given here, right? Backlog. What is it? Okay. Anyway, it's closed, right? That is why it's not saying now. Okay. Like that, we can have it. So that's how we need to understand it. Now, what is the next? Now, next, what we can do is Next, we can basically the changes that we know already. Now, if you want to apply the changes based on that, you can apply. Let's say I want to apply the changes. Now, because the changes, whatever you have, I can first show you in the main branch. This is the main branch, right? If you go to the module, is where we did changes, right? On the storage account, we have a main.tf. The what is changes? Sorry, not dev branch. My bad. It is a main branch, right? Main branch. So you go to the modules, go to the storage main. You can see here, right? This is March now. This is coming from where? This is a main branch, but this is the dev this branch because we did a pull request, right? But branch got deleted because we enabled that one during the pull request. Okay, now we can see the changes now. So what is the next now? Whatever changes we are doing, it will be taken that one. So as I told you, that is how we need to understand it, right? Now next is what we want. I want to apply the changes, then I can apply. Let me come back, main repo pipelines. If you go pipeline, now you can apply. Let me run the new pipelines, because if you see here, I don't have any pipeline in this branch, so it is not allowing me to do it. So I have to select the main branch. In the main branch, I can see the option to select as this thing. By default, it is taking as a validated plan. I can apply if you want. In the dev environment, I can apply this now. Okay. Now, if I apply this thing, what happened now? Because if you remember yesterday, we have done the backends also. I will show you the changes also. If you remember in your yesterday sessions, so we have configured the providers there. We have given this also, right? If you remember. So this is given because we want to use our backends to store our state file. So same way I have also configured in my library. Now you can see the Terraform backends. Here we have the all are basically your container name, your state file, everything's details are defined here. Whatever name we have defined it everything here. So let's wait. So it is now going to be created now. Now we understood this is how normally in real time this will be working. Now you understood till now, like how normally you have to work with the request, right? Task basically. That means once you apply, your task is complete. Then you have to verify in your portal based on the name that you've given. Okay. 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 Maybe there is some this thing. I will do some changes here. I think I try to do some other changes also. In your dev branch, there is sorry, I think here, right? For testing I did it. I have to remove this. It should be a pipeline. It's not taking the latest one, so let me change this one. Pipelines. I was trying to change that one, but anyway. Now this time I will do changes into the same branch. Let's say now. Otherwise, this time, okay, I will change it. I will directly do changes in the main branch. No problem. Normally, as I told you, you will not make changes in your main branch. Always try to use in the feature branch. If you know the small changes, then that's good. You can do it actually. But yeah, you should be careful while doing it. In my case, as I told you, I know the changes what I want to do, so I will commit it. Before that, if you can see now all the resource whatever we have defined in the TFRs file, it is going to be created, right? And let's see. So if you see here, all these resources are created from where this is. If you see here, total there are 14 resources, right? So you can check what are the plans, every single resources, how it is being used. Let's say we have a network security related, then we have a resource group, then we have a security network security associate to associate with your subnet and then energy. Then we have a bnet, then we have a storage account for the RSG for the storage account, not RSG basically, I mean resource group. Then we have a yeah, storage account. In here we have a storage account details, then we have it other storage account. Okay, now this is good. Okay, now whatever we have done, so you can see the changes. Now it is good. Now you can see your plan, your Terraform. This also it is merged, you merge it to the this thing. Now it is applied also. Now I but I want to make some changes also here. Let me once again change something here. Okay, I will keep something dev runs in my case. Okay, that's okay. I'll commit because I made some small changes. I want to commit it. Here, right? I made some changes. Let me commit now. Once again, I commit it because but the task whatever you have done, that is done because you have applied the changes also. Now you can check in portal also if you want. Then you can verify it. Now next task, I want to do some changes also so that I can run the pipeline. That also I can show you better. Git what do you call status, git commit. This time, as I told you, I'm doing the main branch, not in the feature branch. Updated pipeline. I can directly post it. As soon as I push now, because see, it is showing me this message because the reason why it's coming here. This is why it is very important to understand. I try to modify the changes in the main branch, and whenever I modify the code in locally, I have modified it, but now it is throwing me an error, says that updates were rejected because the remote branch work that you do not have locally. This is usually caused by another repository push to the this particular branch. Now it is asking me doing this thing before pushing. That means the reason why we have, because this main branch was there locally, right? And after this one, what we did was here in particular this thing changes. We merge this also now. Whatever storage in the feature branch we have changes that is about the storage account related. These changes also be merged with the main branch, right? But then this is stored where in the remote. But then how the local remote same branch remote, I mean main branch will know, right? This is the reason why always whenever you are working with the remote and local, you have to get a latest code. As I told you, the main branch, there is a new latest code that is about the storage account changes, right? Let me show you here. If you go to the main branch, now if you go to the if you remember, there is something called as a TFVers file, right, in the dev branch. So if you go to TFVers file, dev branch, sorry, not here. It is a module storage account under main.tf. See here, under main.tf, we have modified something, we have given some notes right here. In the main branch, it is not showing because this changes is only happen to another branch, but same it is merged with the main branch, but then it is merged in the locally, sorry, remotely, not locally. That means now this branch is not having the up to date code. The latest code is not there in your main branch. Now, if you go to the here again, let me show you one more repo. If you go to main branch, go to the pipelines. Sorry, not pipelines, modules. Under module, we have a storage account. Let's say I have modified something. Let's say this is from this thing, right? What is the line number? Under storage account module, we have line number 9. Here we have given this is from the storage account, but this is also main branch. If you see, this is main branch, but this is from remote. This is also main branch. If you go same line number 9, right? There's nothing mentioned. It's not coming because the changes we are making remotely only. The locally it is not Mars basically. So in order to get the latest code from the remote as well, if you are working with same branch or whichever branch, you have to do a pull request. So what you do, you can do a git pull. In my case, if you're getting the latest code from the different brands, let's say you're working with the feature branch, you have to mention origin, whatever the name of the brand main. Right now, we already know I'm in the main branch. Let's say I'm in the feature branch, but I want to get a latest code from the main branch. In this case, you can use like this: git pull origin main. That means whatever changes is there from the main branch, it will be fetched in your feature branch. But in my case, we are already in the main branch, so I don't want to do this one. I can simply use a git pull. So that means whatever changes is there from the remote, it will get pulled. Now you can just notice this line number 9. What happens if I do a pull request? I mean git pull. Can you see here? As soon as I did here, line number this is M nothing but modify, right? Nothing by modify, and same thing for TF bars also modify, because remember we did two changes. One is your TF bars file, second is your here also TF bars file. We given some changes in the storage account later, but here we did some changes also automatically. You can see the M modified one. Now this is from the storage account, but if you see here, this we are in the main branch. Now what you have to notice here, if you see here, one and one changes, basically we have to one remote and local, right? Now as soon as that means now local changes is already now it is brought to your local also. That means whatever remote you have in your particular main branch, the changes also reflected in my local main branch. Now then what it do by default, whenever there is any changes from the remote to the local, automatically what they will do, if you see the message, as soon as I do, what is that? Yeah, okay. You can see reject. Okay, you can see the marks, right? As soon as I this thing, you can see the changes. I can give some message name now. So in this message name, basically after pull request, did we use the pull request or we did this thing? I think we did the pull request only, right? Let me check 1 minute. Let me come back. Okay, I will change this name, or if you want to change, you can change, or you can ignore it. Let it be other same name for this case. I will. This is basically this thing. I can just use a colon. Then I can use the WQ. If you want to modify something, I can modify whatever name I want to modify. Basically here, this line. I can modify it, but as I told you, I don't want to do that. Let's keep it as it is. Then quit exclamation, right? Quit and the exclamation mark. So it will execute. It will go back. Now, as soon as I have done, as soon as I have done the pull request, now I can see as soon as I do pull request, now the changes, whatever we have this thing, now you can see Mars met by this thing strategy, and now pipeline, these particular changes we have made it changes, right? And we have done two changes, right? One is your main.tab storage account later we did changes. Second is the changes that we make about the where is that here tbars file. So we made those two changes. This is the reason why two file changes happen. This is what it is showing here. Now that means you're in the main branch. Now if you x this thing, now you can see here. Now you cannot see the option to modify because they have merged it together. Now but this is merged. But if you notice here, this is 0. Zero, what is a zero? This what is the icon? This is incoming. Whatever issue this one, the symbol, this one incoming 0, incoming 0. Why? Because we have already brought all the changes from the remote. This is why there is no any changes in your main branch in the remote. This is what's showing as a 0. But when comes to the this one symbol, right? This is outgoing. Outgoing means this is basically from the local. In the local, there is a two changes. One is these two changes, right? That means this is outgoing. That means now because we brought up two changes, this is what's showing. Now I have to, after pull request is done successfully, then only I should be using a git push. This time it will work now without fail. Now whatever changes I have, these changes also will be available with your local changes. Whatever you done local changes mean what I did was I did changes locally. There was something, right? Something I modified. I don't remember. I think I modified into, yeah, I think this one, right? Yeah. So I modified this one, right? These changes also will be available now, as well as the remote, whatever is there, they will merge together changes. Now let's see. Now automatically the pipeline should get triggered automatically now. Let me check. See here, the pipeline should get triggered automatically. Now, how is it possible? Now, if you see here, Mars, because in the comment now after pull request, after committing your changes, when you push, it not allow us to push the right because there was small changes from the main branch in your remote. So this is the reason why now I did a pull request and merge the changes from my local as well as remote together. I merge it. This is the reason why you can see here this message. As I told you, this message can be changed according to your requirement. So if you see the message, what it says, merge branch, that is the main of this particular changes, because this is from the remote changes, right? So whatever remote changes you have, it is merged with your main branch in your local and then post it. Now good. Now it automatically validated, right? Now you can see the changes, whatever changes also. Like, can you see your changes? One changes we can see here, because we have already applied the changes right before already. So one changes only we can see now. What is the changes? This is about the basically related to the Windows. Some by default will come the name to this thing. So that's how we can basically see, because this, as I told you, we have already applied it. Now what we can do next? Once it is done, it is just plan, right? Now if we want to apply we don't want to do because there's no changes, right? So now we can see the in your portal also whatever we have done it. Now okay, before that, if you go to the state file, because state file is something we have updated, right? We can check this also. Go inside. Now this name you can see, this name is coming from where? Because if you remember here in your provider, we are telling that please use the Azure backends, but then we have not defined any value. The value we have defined from your here, what you call, where is that? Sorry. What is the pipeline? Under here, we have defined a variable group. We have given this name, right? This name we have given. So how is it possible? We are calling with this particular variable group name. Where are we defining this one? I will show you that also. So this name we have given, that you can know the container name, that is okay, backend, whatever the details of the service account related and the service connection, you can see everything here. So this is the reason why it is from here. If you see the container name, if you see the service account, you can check it. Even the resource group, also name we have updated right accordingly. If you see the resource group name as backend RG01, same thing, you can see the backend RG01. So we are good here. But question is, where do we define this one then? You have defined here, but how are you calling these backends, right? So I will show you that also. How is it possible? First thing, if you go to the, as I told you, before that, let me show you the structure of this basically flow first, how I have done it. This is the real-time base, as I told. You can see the module first. This is how the module will be used. Modules will be always used within the repository. That means you have a repository name. In the same line of the thing, you'll have a module directories. Under modules, you can have a multiple modules. Let's say network related one modules, and this is group related, storage account related, and then we have a virtual machine related, and so on. Now, if you talk about for each module, in the sense for each resource, what we have is we have a main.tfs, output.tfs, and variable.tfs. Now, what is the main.tfs? We have it in, this is called, and there are two, normally there are three types of modules, basically like type we are having. Modules, let's say child module, parent module, or we can call as a root module, and we also have a public module. Public module normally we don't use it, but you can search it. What is you can simply type public module. Let's say you can store in your GitHub somewhere. You can use as a module also, right? Public module in Terraform, but we are not using it. A public module in Terraform is reusable Terraform configuration package as a module and made available for others to use through the Terraform registry. Okay, now if you go here, or you can go here, browse modules. Now you can see many things. Let's say I want to work IAM related. This is one module. There is something called as S3 bucket related one module. So there is so many modules we have. Okay, but this mostly Terraform we don't have for the Azure specifically mentioned much, but Terraform resource you get many things. But Azure, if you want, you can take it. If you select the Azure, let me select. Now in Azure, let's say you can see the this all public module, right? You can select let's say AKS related one module. Now if you see here, you can see this is AKS module, AKS, then the source. This is from the case, what is a version, then what is a variable I want to define, that I can define it. Or you can also see here different like what you want exactly depends on your requirements. You can basically source, you can check. And if you see a source code, this is managed by certain person or use this thing, you can click here. You can also check if you want to see here. Like you can see this is basically GitHub where they have stored this as a module and publish in your the registry, basically that is Terraform registry. That also if you want also you can do with that. So, okay, now if you go one of them, like you can just take a look how they have defined it, everything, and they have defined it. But yeah, it is just for sake of your understanding that is possible. Okay, now if you want to do so, you can also check it how to do it. But cluster related like this you can see now. So we can use it this also if you want to use it like that. That is a public register modules basically. Then we have two modules. This is a public module. We have two more modules. That is, one is your child module. Child module mean which is being used by another module or being referenced by another module. That means this, let's say, I would say this particular storage account, right? This is within the module, right? Within the, what do you call, this is a folder. Within here we have a multiple modules, right? So inside here we have a network or resource group, whatever. This particular network, let's say I want to use it in my BM, means in my BM module, mean this will be considered as a child module and this will be considered as a root module. That means anything that you are referring to use into your particular module, the particular module that is a binary network module will be considered or called as child module. Root module is something that the one where you're going to use it basically. In my case, I'm going to use here like that. So on the high level, now in the root module level, if I talk, this is basically this thing you can see. This is about this is a child module. Inside whatever you have a service or anything you can call it. This is all child module because this is all being referenced by another module. And whatever we see, this is all root module we have. So in the root module, mostly what you can see something like this, you can see the data, resource group related, storage account, then we have a network related, then we have virtual machine related, we are passing like this. Okay. So this is called as the root module, or we can call as a parent modules. And second, we can child module. Okay, that's all. Now next, coming to the backends, right? So okay, we have understood this part, right? Now, what is the next? We have understood the module part. Next, we have a pipeline. What is a pipeline basically? Pipeline basically, as I told you, we need to structure our pipeline also to automate all your CI/CD process, right? Now, continuous integration and delivery is not mean only the deploying the resource and then just monitoring. No, there is a certain process where we need to follow. So if you take a look closely, there is a under pipeline. I have given folder as a common. Under commons, you if you just click on this answer, you can see under pipeline. I have two folders. One is your common, second is your environment or ENB, environment short name. Now if you click under the pipeline, I have given, that means this is all your related to your pipeline related. Now under pipeline or inside pipeline, I have a let's say environment. Under environment, I have a NA. Now NA, it is actually optional. The reason why I have given, because if you go with the real-time case, right? For let's say, for example, I want to deploy any resource or create any resource. What happens? You will deploy the dev environment, but then I also need to be sure in which region, right? In which location I want to deploy my resource. That is also important for me to understand, right? This is the reason why I want to isolate everything based on the region as well. Okay, this is the reason why under the environment I have given the NA is nothing but North America. So if I want to deploy any resource in the East US or anything, then I can select this region as this thing. Now inside here, if I click here, then what I have inside this particular not regions, I have, as I told you, there are three, I have in my case three environment. One is your dev, second is a prod, sorry, second is a staging, and third is a prod. Okay, now if you go to each environment, let's I want to say now I want to deploy my resource in my dev environment in the North America or the East US, then I have to come here and update it. So now if you come, what happens here, whatever value I'm having it, just like how we are passing here, but this is a default one. This is a default one. So, but this is the one we are going to use it, right? So for, as I told you, for each environment, I have given like a pipeline variables dot tf, sorry, pipeline variable dot dev dot YAML. So what it contains basically, it contains all the variables only related to your dev environment. Say for example, for dev environment, what all we require, that is the minimum, right? We are using the backend. If you remember just now I was saying, backends we have a here, configure these backends. For each environment may have a different backend. That means you are storing your state file, right? We cannot use the same state file for multiple environment. So what we do, we store our state file into multiple in based on the environment specific, right? So this is the reason why I have given as a variables group as a, because this is a variable group, right? So I have given the name. Let me copy and show you. If I copy and paste it here, this is the name I'm using. So under here, now whatever the value I'm going to pass, I can call with the each, because once I define the variable group name, I can easily call with the each key name in the key and value, right? This with the key name. This is only the I have to extract the value basically. Now this is about only the dev environment related. Now I have also given the common parameter across the environment. Now we have a tf file. This is also, we want to parameterize something so that we can pass some value. I have given now. Then what all we need? We also need a tf file. Now what is tf file? As we all know, right? Whatever we have a tf file, how Terraform will pick the, or maybe yeah, how the Terraform will pick the right tf file, right? So we should know that. So this is the reason why I have this name can be anything, as long as you are passing the proper parameters, it should be fine. You can give any name you want to give. This is a short name mostly used. So I given this name as a short name, tf file. Now here, that means now if you notice here, because this is only related to your dev environment, so you can see the value in the sense that is about your tf location, right? Now how is it reference? Now if you see pipeline environment, now this pipeline environment is coming from this pipeline is a root directory, right? Under root directory you have a pipeline folder. Under here we have a environment. Under environment we have a let's say whatever environment name, right? And then we have a under here dev, dev based on the environment, basically dev environment. And inside here we have a parameters, parameters we have it. How this name is coming? Tf, because we are taking this one as an dynamic way. Otherwise I can directly copy paste the same part. That's also fine. But I want to use much more like dynamic way. And tf, this Terraform, then environment, then tf. Okay. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, this we have got same way. I have done all our backends configuration. Let's say we have the service connections, then we have it all our related things backends, and you can see the backend whatever name I, let's say example, I will tag this one as in what is the resource group name, right? This name I have given. Let me search here. You can see here this name. Same thing if I talk about the storage account name. You can see, right? So like that. Now if I want to call with if I want to use this storage account, I have to call with this name based on the variable group that you define. Okay, now that is why we have defined it. And if you see here, the state file should be like terraform.tvars file. It should be done same thing only. Now if you go to the store account also containers, you can see the this all we know, right? We have defined everything accordingly. Now if you go to the here, we have defined this name dynamically. Okay, now if you have a secrets or anything, you can do it. This you can ignore. Okay, for now. Same way, now we have a this is the changes that this is about the whatever we have in TFRs file. This is about the related to your Terraform TFRs file for your dev environment, everything. Okay, that's the thing. Same way, if you want to deploy to the staging environment, same concept will use it. But one thing we need to be had defining, but how the Terraform would know how they will have to load the file. So there is something called a template. If you go under pipeline, there is something commons. We have gone the environment related. Now let's go to the common under common folder. We have something called templates. What is template now? In templates, we have two things. One is your pipeline.yaml. Second is your terraform.yaml. Now, if I talk about templates, template is nothing but it is a sort of kind of the basically let's say I want to store. Let's say I want to configure some what can I say? Testing. Let's say I want to test something on your Terraform. Let's say, or maybe I want to configure Sonar Cloud or Sonar Cube, right? Instead of defining the all the steps, basically you have to define a task, right, for Sonar Cloud or Sonar Cube. So you have to define all the tasks in order to perform that one. But where are you going to write the code that you can store in your pipeline? Like you can store in here also, right? Normally, but in your write in your Azure pipeline.yaml, if you write here, what happens as you have a more and more the code depends on the requirement. Your pipeline get increase more and more. The size also will bigger. Then what happens? It is difficult to manage it. Also, it is difficult to understand it. So instead of this one, what they can do is we can have a separate folder called as templates. Under templates, we can have a related template. Let's say if I have a Sonar Cloud or Sonar Cube related task, I can simply define all the tasks just like how I have defined it here like this. This is about a Terraform related task. Same way, you can define the Sonar Cloud related task or Sonar Cube related, and then you can pass that with the help of template. This thing, what I call by calling the path. Okay. Now, when it comes to the pipeline.yaml, what we have here, you can ignore this one. You can remove also. This not doesn't make sense. You can remove this also. Okay. Now, first we have a parameters, and then in the parameters we have a name. I want to parameter this thing. Default should be taken as a dev, and name I given as a this thing plan. It has to be only taken as a plan by default. Now, this one stays. If you see the stage, because this is our pipeline, we have a stage, whatever name based on the environment, it has to take the parameters environment, and display name also based on the again environment. And okay, and then template. If you see here template, I have taken the pipeline template. Pipeline template mean whatever the pipeline I have defined here, based on that they will take this template. Okay, then here we have environment. Again, this also parameterized dynamically. Same TFRs also we have defined everything here. From parameter we are taking it to pass the value basically. Now here when it comes to the terraform.yaml, what we have actually is if you notice, let me check here we have a parameter environment everything. This is also we can define if you want. Now whatever this is about terraform, that means this is about the terraform task. Like say in order to deploy your resources in terraform, do one thing before that. I think I will be I should delete my pipeline because I think it is running, right? Let me check. Yeah, there is a issues going on. Right. Let me delete these all issues because it will consume a lot of costs otherwise. Go back. This task also I have defined it in part of my pipeline also, so that it will be easy for people to manage it. But in real time, they don't define task for the destroy. Destroy, they will not be using it. But in my case, as I told you, I have given separate tasks to destroy also. Okay, so it will get destroy everything. Let's wait. Let's not wait. Let's go to the topic. Now, as I told you, this is about the Terraform. Like, as I told you, whatever the Terraform steps that we are working or maybe tasks we are going to define, everything we need to define in the templates only, so that whenever I want to use Terraform related tasks, I can simply call with the Terraform template name, whatever name I have defined the part. Let's say I have to call with the pipeline, then command, then template, done terraform.yaml. I have to call this way if I want to use this particular task basically about Terraform. Now, so as you can see, this is all defined parameterized. It will get checkout in the sense particular repository, and they are going to install the Terraform. That is a version, that is the latest version, Terraform version. They are going to install it, and then this is the task number. Now, if you go here, you can simply Google it, also search it if you want. If you go to the let's say here, let me search this thing. Right, if you go to the task number, you can go official website also. So you can see the not this one, you can ignore this one. So yeah, you can refer this one of the this, there are many tasks, right? You can stack. There are many official websites, or you can refer one of them. So depends on the tasks, what exactly you want to do. It depends on the task. All things you can share. Okay. So within a task, I want to do because I want to know what first I want. I want to initialize the basically backend side, because as I told you, you have to store your state file. So when it comes to the pipeline, first you need to set up your backends. So whenever you run the Terraform init, that time only you have to configure the backends. Whenever you run your Terraform for the first time, Terraform init we are running, right? That time only we have to configure the backends. So this is the reason why in the output provided I given as Azure RM. That means we are good. We know that it is Azure. Then what is the command I'm going to run? I'm going to run as a init, not Terraform init, because they know by understanding task they can understand it. They'll just run Terraform init commands. And in my case, I have environment service connection related. I have given again. This is again the service connections. Basically, they will parameterize this one also. From parameters, we have defined the service connection here, right? Not here. I think pipeline.yaml here. Here we are passing, right? Here we have service connection here. This time, this value will be taken. Or we can take directly from the, as I told you, from the portal also, like from here, right? So from here also, that can be taken, depends on your choice. Now from here we can take it. Okay, now next what we have to do is, once we have taken this thing, then we are good here. Let's go with the next. Terraform is done here. Now, as I told you, we will configure what the key you want, what is the container name you want, all these, whatever name you have defined, this all dynamically it will be taken using the variables, parameters variable, okay, something. Now, if you see the condition basically, whatever we see here, the dollar sign, right, with this thing, what basically it is some, basically some conditions. Now in parameter, there is something called the Terraform action or TF action. If that is Terraform.tf action, like Terraform and plan exists, if this is contains basically just like a BM, how we create using some conditions. Same way, if this is available based on these conditions, then they have to do this task. What they have to do? They have to validate it. Second, in the same task line, after validation, they have to do a plan also. Why validation is required? As we all know, right? Terraform need to validate to check your syntax whether it is correct or not. If there is any issue, then you will get an issue, error. So then whenever this condition is matching, then they will do these two tasks. Second, same way, another way, whenever another task plan and apply, whenever this condition is matching based on this parameters. Again, what they will do, they will plan first based on this thing environment whatever given, and the TFVars file they will take it. Now then second is about your apply, because as I told you, there are apply, plan and apply, right? So I will be taking the apply also, the command as an apply, and this is again the service connections, and they will take the auto approve by default. This is done. Second, now another task is for the destroy, only destroy. Destroy also again same task. Terraform destroy as a display name. Now I can give as a, this remains as a destroy comments. Now also they will check the service connection to authenticate, and whatever TFVars we have, they'll check this time backends through. Now what is ensure backends mean? Basically they'll check the backends whether your state file is managed everything correctly or not. They'll compare the changes everything, then they will do auto approve, they will destroy this thing. This is the steps I have given. This is part of your Terraform steps. So now if you remember just now we have destroyed, right? Let me go back to the pipelines. I have just run the destroy. If you can see here, I think this is the latest one, right? If you can see Terraform destroy, I have run this one, it is success. Now if you go here, it is showing as destroy, right? So whatever issues we have, it is all destroy. You can see it will be destroy. This all destroy. Now you can see total 14 issues got destroyed. Now if you go to the pipelines, this was there. No, if I refresh the page now, see it is gone, right? I can close this also and refresh the page itself. See, now it is gone. I don't have anything related to that particular this thing. So only the backends is there, because as I told you, these backends I'm using it manually. So I want to store the state file. This is the reason I am creating this one manually. I did not use using Terraform. Okay, now let's go with the next. We understood this one, right? Now if you're coming to the here, okay, pipeline. Now is the pipeline. Now then you're saying you have so many things. Why then? What about in the pipeline? Now if you see the pipeline, because we have so many tasks defined, right? Remember, just imagine now whatever task we are defining in the each distinct stage. If we have to define in the pipeline, you can imagine how the pipeline size would be. It will be much bigger, right? It will be difficult to understand also. This is the reason also managing it, you cannot manage it easily. Some changes also happen also. It is difficult to for you to identify and go through every single code. So this is the reason why we have to use a template concept. Template is just like a module in Terraform, similar, just a similar way you can think of for now. Let's say whenever I want to use the same task, I can simply use the template name. I can call with the whatever task defined in the template. Okay, now if you see a trigger, now this is for your in the root module of your repo. I have it Terraform, sorry, Azure pipelines.yaml. Here, first thing I have a branch, include main and dev. Maybe I can remove this if I want. And in my case, I'm using a pool just like others. That time we use the self-hosted or Microsoft hosted. That is again depends on your choice. But in the real time, they'll be using your self-hosted only. And we have a backends. Backends also why I'm using it, because we need to pass the value as I told you, so I can pass it here. Otherwise directly they can take from the backend, directly they configure the backend, right, in the variable group. I have configured here because for our simplicity for simplicity purpose. Now we have a parameters. Now what is this parameters for? This is basically for, if you remember, whenever I want to this thing, I should know if I want to deploy or run Terraform apply. I mean, basically, whenever I want to run a Terraform or from the pipeline, right, I should know what exactly I need to do it, right? Say, for example, let it destroy it anyway. If I go here, let me click new. Let me select here. Let's say I want to do some changes now. See, there is an option, right? Environment. Now, how can you get this option? This, how can I get this? Let's say if I want to deploy to the staging, I can select. If you want to deploy to the production, I can select. If I want to in this production, let's say I want to apply, I can directly apply, or staging also destroy, I can do it. How can you make this one? This is all defined as part of your pipelines using the parameters. This is the reason whatever you see, if you notice here, under environment we have a depth, staging and the productions. Under Terraform plan, sorry, action, we have a Terraform validator plan and so on, right? You can check here also. This one we have, right? If you see here under parameters, I have a environment. There we given the default is the depth. It will default depth. What is the possible value? I have a 3 depth, staging, and a prod. This is what I can see here. Same thing for the Terraform action. I can see these 3, right? You can see under Terraform actions. Display name you can ignore. By default this will take the default, and default value you can give it, because if you don't select, let's say whenever pipeline runs automatically, they will be taken as a validator and plan. Now if you want to change this one, depends on you, you can change it. And there is other option, apply and apply, I mean, plan and destroy, plan and apply and then destroy. This all possible option is there because we have defined it in the pipeline. Now next, now as I told you, you need to authenticate, because resource everything is taken from the variable, based on the module they will take from TFVers file. But what about the authentication? Now this is the reason why I need to give the name, service connection they are using it. Now display name, whatever name I can give it. Now this is as a string. Default means, if you have only one, you can use a default. If you have multiple environment, then you have to set the right one. In my case, I given default. Then you can select this is the default service connection. This service connection name is coming from where? Again, this is a variable, right? This is basically from the parameters is coming, right? This is coming from parameters. Now okay, now next, as I told you, then we have to give a stage. Under stage, what is going to do? All the conditions always, and this all we know. Stage mean, you can give any name, and display name can be based on the environment. You can give whatever name using some dynamic way. And then jobs, under jobs, as I told you, jobs, within that we have a pipeline, because we want to deploy the resources in Azure, right? Sorry, yeah, Azure, using templates, because in the templates here, terraform.yaml, we have it. If you go terraform.yaml, right, we have it all the steps, right? So this is the reason why all the steps are taken. This is the reason why I'm using under jobs. Instead of writing entire code, I'm simply using the part, the template part. But you have to give this name. As you give this thing, then give the part where it is stored. Select that if you want to fetch this thing. Same thing, let's say I have another job that is for, let's say Sonar Cloud or Sonar Cube. If you want to configure here or as part of the pipeline, then you can same like this, configure one more task for part of your pipeline. I mean, very templates, and define just like this using these conditions, and you can define it others like this. Then same thing for service connection, it requires. That's how we run. So once we learn deploy only, we can see the changes that just now we did. This is how it should be used. And as we all know, this is something module based. This is in the root level. That nothing to explain here. That we already know. So in the background, how it work, that you got some idea. So you need to practice. But as I told you, understanding the file structure is quite difficult initially. But what we can do is that go through each folder, what is contained, why we are using it, and in let's say I have a Terraform, why we are using so many states, can we change it or something like that? Just modify it accordingly. Same thing if you want to deploy to the dev environment. Sorry, not dev is done. Staging, let's say I have to do same conf. That means I can have a different value here, because this is about the staging environment can have a different value. You just need to pass the TFVers file in your particular environment. Rest all the code remain as it is. So if you don't want to use certain resource, let's say storage account or anything, you can just comment it. Is just example here. I don't want to use this thing. I can just comment this one like this. I can just use a control question mark. Control use select control then question marks. It will go back. Okay. So whichever you want, you can enable it. If you don't want, for timing, let's say I can do that. Otherwise, you can remove it. It depends on your choice. That is how we can use it. Okay. So yeah, so maybe you try to see how we can use it, as I told you, in the real time, then you'll get a lot of idea. Yeah. So yeah, so thank you once again, team, for joining the session. So we'll connect maybe next week again. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Yeah.